We'll start this one off, guys, with more Shaman, nope, Paladin support. Boom. More Paladin support. Now, Paladin has been a really good deck for a while now, and with some of the cards revealed in this video, it doesn't look like they're going to get any weaker anytime soon. So, here we have Veteran War Medic, a 4 mana 3/5 after you cast a Holy Spell, summon a 2/2 Medic with Lifesteal. Now, this is another one of those Violet Teacher-esque cards, and we covered one in the last video. Now, this one is inherently better because one, it's a 3/5. It's going to stick around a while unless your opponent wants to put 5 into it, which is a pretty high asking price on turn 4. Um, to make this card more powerful, Blizzard decided it was a good idea to make all of the upcoming Libram spells, or the Libram spells we already have, into holy spells. So now when you're playing your 0 mana holy cards to buff her, you're summoning a free 2/2 with lifesteal. And it's not like that deck had any problems healing in the first place, so now they get to heal even more. And, overall, I think this is going to be a nutty card. It's going to be really good. It's going to be stable. It's going to be seen in the list. The only problem with this card is that deck has a lot of power behind it, and it might just be too slow. But in the end, I think it's going to be good because they are losing some 4 mana cards. So this just might be a quick, oh, I lost that 4 mana card in. Let me swap this 4 mana card in. So we'll go ahead and move on here. Now, this is a Paladin card that was revealed, and I don't think it's that strong. Now, the Prince that was 2 mana did a similar thing where you wouldn't run any other 2 drops, but you'd play him because you'd make all the other minions in your deck +1/+1. But this is a little more powerful, so you're spending 2 more mana than that. You get to play multiple of them, and it's pretty much give +1/+1 to all minions in your hand, deck, and battlefield. Now, +1/+1 to everything is decent, but you don't want to do that on your 4 mana spot, especially in Paladin when you want to play like a good 4 mana card, like the Veteran War Medic we just talked about. Um, and another thing that makes this card kind of bad compared to other buff cards is it's only +1/+1. And the old Prince, you played him because if you drop +1/+1 to all minions in your deck on turn 2, that was like really strong. But now you're waiting 2 extra turns and you're not even developing. The old Prince would develop you with 2/2 on top of it. And now you're literally just, I'll do nothing and hope to buff all my stuff. Now this could get good if you're playing a really good like aggro like build of a deck, maybe even dude paladin. You have like 5 dudes from doing all kind of dude stuff, and you're gonna give all them +1/+1, and they're gonna be able to charge in face because they're already on the board for a turn. Um, but I don't think it's really good. Now, Druid has a similar card to this that's 10 mana, give all minions on your battlefield, hand, and deck +4/+4. But that card's super strong because the inherent buff of it, right? Like a 4 mana card that gets +1/+1 still has the potential to be traded off with other 4 mana cards, right? But whenever you're giving something +4/+4, your old 8 mana card isn't going to compare to their new 8 mana card because an average 8/8 is freaking. The average 8 mana card is an 8/8, and now their average 8 mana card is a freaking 12/12, right? Now, that is why this card doesn't really hit the peak of the Druid card, and it's not in a ramp style deck either, because Paladin is normally like board control-y. They want to heal, they want to do stuff like that. Sometimes they get these aggro decks, and this is like the in between of I want to go aggro and I want to buff, but overall, I don't think the card's good. The one thing I do like about it is in the past couple videos, we have talked about cards that are like, oh, this would be good if it's hand buffed. Well, this is a hand buff card or a way to buff it while it's in your deck. So I'll give it that. But overall, I don't think it's going to see play. Next up here, we have another Paladin card, a super good Paladin card. Probably the best one revealed so far. So first, we have a 4 mana 4/3 Divine Shield Rush. So right off the bat, you're dropping this on 4. You're value trading. You're staking a 4/3 for tempo. Crazy card. Now, whenever this card attacks, you reduce cost of holy spells in your hand by 1. Like I said, well, we've already been told that holy spells are going to be some of the Librams. So your 2/2 Librams, stuff like that. You might have discounted them by 1 earlier in the game by having the 1/3. You're not at turn 5 yet to drop the taunt that discounts them by 2 more. But you play her, you get to value trade with something. On top of that, you're discounting all of these holy spells in your hand, and overall, she's going to be super good. 4 attack, Divine Shield for 4, and Rush. Just everything about her screams like every deck is going to play her. And the more holy spells in your deck, just the better she is. So, boom. Next, we got the bearded man himself, Tavis Stormpike, okay? AKA Regis. Now, Regis, 3 mana 2/2, 2/5. After a friendly beast attacks, summon a beast from your deck that costs 1 less. Now, this is very iffy because this would make you have to build your deck very beast eccentric and have all of those mana slots of beast under the beast that you currently have. So, say you have like a 5/5 beast that costs 5 on the board, you want to play your Stormpike and you want to attack with it, try to get your value out of your Stormpike. But the only thing that sucks is you have to have that 4 mana beast in deck. Not to mention you have to play it, but you have to also hope you don't draw it. So for that aspect, I don't think Tavish is gonna be good. The only things I can think of that would be really good are initial beasts that have rush. Like if there was some world where there was like a 2-cost beast with rush, a 3-cost beast with rush, a 4-cost beast with rush, and then you were just like attack with my 4-cost rush, boom, summon the 3-cost with rush, boom. But that's not very likely. And then another thing to maybe think about is Broom. So Broom is the 1/1, give all your other minions rush. So you can summon beast behind Tavish and then give them rush, or the stuff that you summon from Tavish, you can drop your Broom, give them rush, and try to summon more. But overall, I don't think this card is going to be good because it does make you build very specific. You have to draw this legendary for it to pop off. Now, if there is a deck that is just already going to be a good beast deck, and you can throw this in there because a lot of times it already triggers with Tavish, then it's good, right? But I don't think there's going to be such an inherent beast deck that they're running every freaking cost of beast out there. So next up we have one of the craziest cards, right? We got some bangers coming out in this video. Varden Dawngain, a 4 mana 3/3 battle cry, freeze all enemy minions. If they're already frozen, deal 4 to them instead. Now, we did talk about Flurry last video, which is a 0 mana freeze 1, and then it ranks up as it goes on and becomes freeze 2, freeze 3. Now, if you did freeze them, you can summon her and then deal 4 damage to them, but at base, we can pretty much just go ahead and say that this is a Frost Nova, but it's not just a Frost Nova, it's like a crazy Frost Nova, because on average, for 3 mana, you're getting a 3/3, right? So on top of that, you have 1 mana Frost Nova, okay? And then on top of that, you have the potential that if they're already frozen, AoE. So in that aspect, Varden Dawngain, super good card. Yeah, 100% going to be played in almost every list. The only time I can see it not being played is if we get a mage deck that's just so hyper powered that they're winning by like turn 5 or 6 and they don't really want to play Dawngain because it's too slow. But with the cards revealed so far, it looks like mage is being pushed more into that control style mage again, which I'm fine with because I usually have a lot of fun with more control mages, and Warden just does it perfectly. So we'll just head on. Okay, so next here we have one of the homies, Fleur Girl. Boom. Firemancer, Fleur Girl. 2 mana 2/3. After you play a Murloc, deal 1 damage to all enemies. Now, I don't think this card is super good. It is a 2 mana 2/3 Murloc, so that aspect alone, it can stick, and then you can do crazy Murloc stuff with it, buff it up a lot. We did get the 3 mana, give your Shaman Murlocs, or not Shaman Murlocs, but it's the Shaman card that gives your minions +1/+1, and then an extra +1/+1 to your Murlocs. Now, I still don't think that card with this card is enough to push a Murloc Shaman. This card to me is pretty much just like a slightly more buffed, what's his name? Oh, I forgot. But he's pretty much a deal 1 to all enemies. You're going to have to play cards beside him, so you might want to wait to use him to like 4 or 5 to actually get the value out of him. He kind of reminds me of Altruis in a way, right? A cheaper Altruis, but Altruis was a lot easier to play because you had these 0 mana cards and you just kept throwing all these freaking knives or blades or whatever he threw around everywhere. But in this aspect, you have to have Murlocs, and at the moment, Murlocs don't have a lot of stuff to generate value, right? So you're gonna need value cards, in my opinion, to push a Murloc Shaman because, like, I was even having fun with Murloc Shaman a couple days ago with Zach, and it runs out of steam so fast. So that, in my mind, makes it think where Fleur Girl isn't gonna be played unless we keep getting more Murloc Shaman stuff. Moving on here, we have a pretty strong warrior card. Base 1 mana 1/3. We got War Song, Envoy. So 1 mana 1/3. It's already a good card. Frenzy, gain +1 attack for each damaged character. Now, this is good in the aspect of one, it says character. So if you're damaged, if your opponent's damaged, a minion, everything, it's going to gain +1 attack. Now, I think it's super strong because a lot of times when you play 1 mana 1/3, your opponent's gonna play maybe another 1 mana 1/3 or a 1 mana 2/2, something like that. And if they try to attack into your guy, not only are you gonna gain +1 attack for their damaged character, but you're gonna gain +1 attack for himself. Um, we do have a very prevalent card, the 1 mana 3/3 that gives 4 armor to each player. Now, if they play that, you meet it with a War Song Envoy, and then your next turn you're gonna bump into that, right? Then it's looking pretty good because in that scenario they're probably gonna take their 1/3 and throw it in your face because they don't want to deal damage to a Warsong Envoy. So that means when you throw your Warsong Envoy into their 1/3, he's gonna be getting +3 attack. So it's a 1 mana 4/3 or 4/2 at that point. But regardless, then it has to be dealt with. So it's this 1 mana minion that's gonna be really annoying to deal with and has the potential to be really big. So in that aspect, I think this is a great card and it's going to be played. It's going to be a staple in a lot of warrior decks. Moving on, we have a poison here, paralytic poison. Now, paralytic poison is 1 mana, give your weapon +1 attack, and your hero's immune while attacking. I don't think this card is great. We have other poison cards. We have the poison card that gives your weapon +2 permanently for 1 mana. We also have Nitro Boost Poison that also gives minion +2 and your weapon +2. Now, I just don't like the +1 attack. Okay, like I don't think giving something +1 attack is worth 1 mana. Now you also do get the added benefit of your hero's immune while attacking, but you're playing rogue anyways, and health is a resource. You don't really care about being immune because you want to end the game before you being immune even comes up into the picture. So in that aspect alone, I don't think paralytic poison is going to be played because it's just too slow and there's not enough value inside of the card. So moving on, we have Gruff Rune Totem. Now, sadly, it's not a totem. I don't know why I would get a totem in Druid, but it's totem's in the name. Regardless, boom. 3 mana 2/2. After you cast a nature spell, give a random friendly minion +2/+2. This card's strength depends on the number of nature spells that we get and what gets the nature tag. Now, it does say other friendly minions, so you have to have minions on board before you start doing bufferooski stuff. But in my mind, what I'm thinking is people already play Gibberling, they do Gibberling stuff. And if nature studies and potentially like Innervate or stuff like that gets the nature tag, and you can do Gibberling plus every time you trigger your Gibberling, you're giving +2/+2 to somewhere, that's going to make him really strong. So I think in Spell Druid, if we keep the aspect of Spell Druid going and we get a lot of the cards that are already ran in Spell Druid to have the nature spell tag, this is going to be a really strong card and it might help push the aggro list farther into the day. So next we have one of the sigil cards we talked about a couple videos ago. It's very reminiscent to a quest, right? But all you have to do is start your next turn. So your opponent sees it and they get to choose to play around it however they choose fit, but at the start of your next turn, it happens. So 0 mana. At the start of your turn, silence all enemy minions. This card I like due to the fact that it's a silence, and we're losing a lot of silences in Hearthstone nowadays. And we do know that there have been OTKs in the past of Demon Hunter, especially when they first came out. They would use like their inner demon, hit face for like 20 damage or whatever. And if we do get a combo like that, having the ability of silence to set up to always combo next turn is really strong, because a lot of times you can tell if your opponent's gonna combo because maybe they didn't do anything or they've been clearing your board or stuff like that. Or say I'm the Demon Hunter player and I'm playing against priests and stuff. Like I have this 30 damage in hand. I just need to be able to swing face. Like I need to put this face damage in. And that's where you can sigil a silence and they're like, dang, no matter what I do, I can't interact with this silence. Even if I play a taunt minion, I'm dead. So in that aspect, I like Sigil of Silence a lot. But if there's not an OTK style of Demon Hunter, I don't think the card's going to see play at all. So we'll go ahead and move on now. So now we're going to talk about Razormane Battle Guard. I love this card. Looked freaking sick, dude. Look at the little rhino dude over there. Chilling. Okay, but 2 mana 2/3, good stat line, right? 2 mana 2/3s, time and time again, are strong. The first taunt minion you play each turn costs 2 less. Now, as a base, right, you're playing Taunt Druid. Okay, we've seen a couple Taunt Druid cards. I've talked shit about some of them, but we have got some good taunt stuff like rolling out. So turn 2, you're gonna play a 2 mana 2/3. Maybe you have a cheap taunt guy that's like 2 mana, and you're gonna play him alongside this, and then maybe you're netting like 4 mana on turn 2, which makes your opponent be like, dang, how do I deal with this? Now, if we push that a step further, right? Say you don't have this small 2 mana taunt card because we don't really have a viable one right now. You play this as a 2 mana 2/3. Your opponent doesn't deal with it. Next turn, you can play a 5 mana taunt in your hand on turn 3. And 5 mana are usually when you get that power creep of cards when it comes to minions, because they're just inherently better than whatever your opponent's going to play for 3 mana. So in that aspect alone, I feel like if he can stick, you can play your guy, it's going to be super solid. And even late game, if it's like 8 mana, right, you have a big 8 mana taunt, you play this guy down and it's a free 2 mana 2/3. Like, I think it's a superb card. So we'll move on. I like him. And then for the last card on our list today, we have Plague Maw, another taunt synergy druid card. See, we've got a lot of taunt synergy cards. We just haven't seen good taunt cards. Like, what are you doing, Blizzard? Come on, we want to see the taunts. We need to see the big old booties. Okay, 4 mana 3/4. After a friendly minion with taunt dies, summon a new copy of it without taunt. Now, what I like most about this card right off the back when I think about it is Greybough. So I was a super big fan of Greybough when it first came out, and I played it a crap ton, trying to get like 7 Greyboughs on the board, freaking do it, freaking just have fun, right? Have your opponent want to concede. So Plague Maw is good with him just due to the fact that you can play Greybough, you can play Plague Maw, they kill Greybough, your Greybough Death Rattle goes on Plague Maw, you resummon your Greybough, and now you already have 2 Greyboughs triggering back and forth on each other, and oh my god, I'm gonna do it day one on God. So besides that, if you are playing this tempo Death Rattle deck, which it seems, or taunt deck, which it seems like they're pushing, this card's good due to the fact that it can hide behind the taunts. And unless they have some type of direct damage, which isn't abnormal for nowadays Hearthstone, like usually you can kill whatever minion you want to kill, given a lot of times. But if they can't kill him and he's sitting behind like these 3 taunts and you have to attack, that means you're killing my minions, but for you sacrificing all this damage and health into these minions, all you're essentially doing is getting rid of the keyword taunt after you kill them. They're still minions that are going to be an annoyance to you, especially for aggro decks, because sometimes aggro decks have this thing where, oh, this dude plays a taunt, okay, it's maybe like a 2/4 taunt, and then I'm going to trade like 2 minions into it, I'm going to have 1 minion on board, and I'll try to get back from there. Well, now, if I have that 2/4 and I drop a Plague Maw, and you're some aggro deck that can't specifically deal with him, then what you're going to do is you're going to trade all these minions into my 2/4, and then he's going to die, but he's going to come back as a 2/4 without taunt. So now, not only have I stopped damage from hitting my face, but I've also summoned back a minion to counteract and try to take back board control for myself. So in that aspect, Plague Maw, super good. But it's all just up to what taunt cards do we get, because we haven't seen any good like super strong neutral taunt. We haven't seen any taunt cards for Druid, so we're just missing the taunt cards. A lot like Death Rattle, right? We've had a lot of Death Rattle stuff shown to us, but we don't have any good Death Rattle cards shown to us. So we'll revert from here back. We'll tell you what I think about the card, if it's good, if it's not good, or if it's niche. So, Plague Maw. We'll just start off first, since we just talked about it. Him. Only time will tell, but I don't think it's going to be played outside of anything fun. Razormane. Only time will tell with this, because we're waiting for the good taunt cards. But at the moment, we don't have those good taunt cards. But if we do get good taunt cards, I can see a taunt druid coming up and this card being a staple. Sigil of Silence, I don't think it's going to be played because I don't think we're going to have like super insane OTK. Gruff Rune Totem, it's another We Will See. So we have a lot of We Will See cards on this list because we don't know what nature spells we have access to at the moment. And just due to that, we don't know how strong he will be. Paralytic Poison, I don't think it's going to see play, plain and simple. War Song, I think it's going to see play. I think it's going to be an auto include in almost every list. I think when you go to build that 30 card shell, you're going to be like, put 2 of those in, and then you're going to go from there. Next, Fleur Girl, we don't have enough Murloc stuff. We've got 2 Murloc Shaman cards, and both of them aren't good enough to push the archetype, but I'm definitely going to try it out. I think Varden is going to be an auto-include in a lot of priest decks. Tavish, simply and sadly, I don't think it makes the cut because it's too hard for this to fit into a specific deck. Rome, we already have one of the best decks in the format, staying at its strength, and they're going to give us more cards for it, and that deck being Libram Paladin. So I think she's an auto-include. I think they're going to lose cards, and they're just going to throw Rome in there. Invigorating Sermon, I don't think it's good. I don't think it's going to see play. I think it's 4 mana, do nothing, and over time it doesn't generate you the value that you're going to want. And then lastly here, we have Veteran War Medic. I do think she's going to see play. I think it's the same thing as Rome. We're going to be missing 4-cost cards. It's a Paladin card. You're just going to throw it in there, right? And that being said, I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, push the notification bell, YouTube saying shit, and have a great one.